Welcome to Malifaux University. 641. Special Scheme, Lugharcan's Clover. The Lugharcan is a never-born beastie inspired by the mischievous leprechaun of Irish folklore. It got its own Through the Breach adventure for role players in March 2022, and we got a special scheme called Lugharcan's Clover, which actually has nothing to do with the beast other than its name, so don't worry about that. You can find it in the Crew Builder app by setting the rule set to All, or by following the link in the notes below. When you choose Lugharcan's Clover as one of your schemes, you secretly select two pieces of terrain that are completely on your opponent's side of the table. They also need to be within 12 inches of one another, but they don't have to be completely within that distance. The goal of Lugharcan's Clover is to get your scheme markers between the two pieces of terrain, and later to get your leader and a scheme marker near one of them. Don't choose terrain that is too close together or too small, or it'll be hard to score the reveal. Also keep in mind that if you whip out a ruler and start measuring terrain gaps, it may give away that you've chosen this scheme, so maybe just eyeball it and err on the side of caution. No matter what you choose, write it down so you can reveal it later. The reveal condition for Lugharcan's Clover is scored at the end of the turn. If you have two friendly scheme markers in the space between the two chosen pieces of terrain, reveal the scheme, remove the markers, and score the victory point. The scheme markers don't have to be touching the terrain or each other, just between the two terrain pieces. As established in the November 2022 errata, the area between the terrain is determined by drawing sight lines from the outside edges of the terrain pieces to create as large a polygon or space as possible. Anything even partially within this area is considered to be in the area between. The end condition involves only one of the two pieces of terrain. By the end of the game, you need your crew leader and a friendly scheme marker to be within 2 inches of each other and that piece of terrain. Again, a small piece of terrain might make this harder or easier depending on how you play and who your crew leader is. If you've got them all together like this, you score the second victory point, and you don't have to remove the scheme marker to do it. Remember that models with summon upgrades or tokens cannot interact and don't count for friendly schemes or strategies for the turn they are summoned. This will only matter for this scheme if you're hoping your summoned models will drop scheme markers. Of course, if they have ways of dropping scheme markers without using the interact action, then that gets around this restriction. Let's see this in action. Seamus is leading his Red Chapel crew against Tara's Obliteration crew and has chosen Lugharcan's Clover as one of his schemes. Before the game, the Red Chapel player selects this building and this one, which is about 10 inches away from it. He writes them down in secret. It takes a couple of turns to get his models across the board, but he finally has a Rotten Bell walk between the buildings and interact to drop a scheme marker. Later, the White Rabbit Company realizes they are too close to the Rotten Bell scheme marker to interact and drop one of their own, so they cast Beckoning Call on this Void Wretch that is already activated, cheating in a 12 of Tomes to win the duel and get the Draw Out Secrets trigger. They have the Void Wretch move 5 inches toward the Rotten Bell and drop a Resurrectionist scheme marker when it gets there. At the end of the turn, the Red Chapel player reveals Lugharcan's Clover and the two chosen pieces of terrain. He removes the two scheme markers and scores the victory point. The Outcast player does his best to keep Seamus away from the two terrain pieces in the final turn, engaging him with Talos and a Void Wretch to pin him against this other building. The Resurrectionist player waits until the end of the turn to activate Seamus, starting with his Secret Passage tactical action. He gets the target number and places Seamus next to one of the two chosen buildings. He interacts to drop a scheme marker and ends his activation. At the end of the game, Seamus and his scheme marker are both within 2 inches of each other and one of the chosen terrain pieces. Red Chapel scores the second victory point. Let us know in the comments below how your game turns out when you play this scheme. That's the special scheme, Lugharcan's Clover. Pick up a printable set of all the markers and tokens you need to play Malifaux in the Wargames Vault. If you haven't already, join our Patreon for early, ad-free access to all new content, and be sure to visit the Malifaux University gift shop for the latest in Malifaux-themed shirts, hoodies, drinkware, and more. Links are in the notes below. And remember, play friendly games, keep it simple and have fun.